The round of 16 is done. The Elite Eight is done. Now we are on to the semifinals of the TST, and I could care less if I sound like a broken record because I'm going to say it again. The Major Arena Soccer League is once again repped hard. 7 out of the 8 teams in the round of 8 had at least one MASL player. Our guys are killing it, but more importantly, they're having a darn good time doing it. Today's show, we're going to cover those 2 rounds of the TST, the round of 16 and the round of 8. We're going to have highlights. We got 3 awesome interviews. I've got one with Stefan Mijatovic, better known now as Meat. Jonathan Reimer has a great interview with Tranquilo FC coach and general manager of the Empire Strykers, Jimmy Nordberg. And Panda has a great interview with Lux St, who's representing Newtown Pride on the content creation side. She's going to give us the inside scoop from all things going on at TST from that Newtown tinted lens. All that and more on the MASL TST show. My name is Christian Filliman, otherwise known as Philly, and joining me, Amanda the Panda Filliman, not my sister, and the doctor, Jonathan Reimer.
What's going on? Yes, I am definitely fine with so many glasses of wine today, so many games. Cannot wait to dive into the action. It is jam-packed. And yeah, but before we do that, like we've said in the previous episodes, make sure that you subscribe to MASL Soccer on Facebook and Instagram and MASL Arena on Twitter.
What's up, folks? It's Doc here, your third wheel with the even keel, the man with his tagline back. Thank you, Philly. Folks, it's been a fantastic tournament. Spent the day watching all the games. We're going to have a lot of fun recapping this for you. And you, too, can tune into all the action on ESPN Plus or tstlive.thetournament.com and follow the TST at TST7v7 on all your social medias.
Absolutely. So many things to talk about, so much content, so many interviews. But first, to celebrate, and replicate, and because they got knocked out, commemorate and commiserate, we're going to kick things off with a Concafa SC style celebration similar to the one done by Gordy Gerson and Zach Reggett, and of course the man known as Meat, Stefan Mijatovic. Let's go Concafa, the most visible team on there. They gave us a show. The boys had a lot of fun, so we're going to want to toast to them. If I can only open this stinking bottle of Michelob Ultra. Let's go! Oh,
wait.
Work out the way
Wait.
I had to do.
Hold on.
Wait a minute.
Wait,
I'm the only one.
really?
Wait, we were actually doing it?
Wait, you actually opened
I'm
your...
the only one that really did this.
Yeah, Panda and I.
Gosh. Might as well start changing my moniker now to Filthy. Come on, guys. I thought we were in cohesion doing this. By the way, it was a lot harder than I thought it would be. But,
oh my God, I have so much to clean after this. Thank God I have dude wipes.
Wait a minute.
I'm going to need them.
So do I.
Oh my gosh.
Doctor,
really,
are you cleaning
anywhere.
your neck of the woods?
I don't know. Right here above my fancy Team USA edition of Michelob Ultras, we've got none other than it is. You know it.
By the way, you guys suck. I really thought we were going to all dump beer on each other.
Why am I even
start this pot off?
Why am I even surprised that you did that? I don't even want to walk in.
You think I was lying? Come on. Like, when do I lie about these kinds of things? You do know.
Oh, there was teamwork. There was teamwork there, Philly. It was just a different kind of teamwork, my friend. Yep. Ching, ching. Thank you.
Yeah. All right. This is because I stole your line the previous night, isn't it? I see. You're holding it against me. Whatever. Y'all can start the pot. I clearly got to clean up a little.
Panda, why don't you get the action kicked off with the quarterfinals?
Absolutely. I'm going to get into the first match of the day that we want to talk about. And I know Philly has been front and center with his love for the Hoosier Army because that's where he went to college. But maybe some of you don't know this, but I spent far more time in Indiana than he ever did. I was born and raised in that state. So I have a little love in my heart for Hoosier Army, especially when they're going up against someone like Freedom United SC. And that's what they did this morning at 6:30 a.m. Pacific, 9:30 TST time. And just 46 seconds into this match, we saw a goal by Hoosier Army, Joris Alinvi. He was assisted by Nikita Kotlov. And Yeah, those don't sound like very Hoosier names, but hey, they went there, I guess. So they get the accolades, and all the Who's down in Whoville rejoiced as their tournament chances grew 3 sizes that game. Hoosiers pull out the win 2-0 and are going to advance into the next match. And, I can't say I'm upset about this. There was no stake in the game as far as MASL action was concerned, but, little love for my Hoosiers.
Next up, we have Saturday's football versus the Rally Rebels, and Saturday's football rolled through the Rebels, defeating them 2-0 and advancing to the round of 8. Brandon Gomez faced 2 shots, saved them both. We now officially have MASL representation in the quarterfinals, with one of the 2 teams to have qualified thus far.
I'm still perturbed by the fact that nobody joined me on the celebration. I mean, I thought we were a team, a trio, a triumvirate. Y'all did me dirty. I'm gonna remember this like an elephant. I may be named after a female horse because that actually is what a filly is, but as an elephant, I do not forget. I will remember this. Going on, thank you very much. Soaked in Michelob Ultra. Newtown Pride took on Como Cagliari earlier in the morning. Newtown appeared to be skating through with goals on either side of the half. They took the early lead thanks to an own goal from the Sardinians and doubled up the second half when Morales added another goal on his golden boot run. Como Cagliari scored 6 minutes into overtime to make it 2-1, then netted the equalizer 13 minutes later, and after nearly 3 halves of play, we're tied at 2. But just one more minute later, a mere 60 seconds, Gabriel Ganser fired the target goal home, and Newtown Pride advanced to the round of 8. Newtown's goalkeeper tactics, clearly a discussion worth having, but not now. It's somewhere down the road. MASL representation now in the round of 8.
Up to 2 out of 3 at this point. Love it.
All right. Well, I mean, we talk about the controversy, and there's no one better than a correspondent with boots on the ground, Lux St, who I had the honor and privilege of sitting down with and chatting with and kind of getting a little more insight into this Newtown Pride team. So I'm going to start that interview now. And yeah, you guys are really going to enjoy this one. All right. So here we go. What's up, MASL and TST followers? I am Amanda, the Panda Filament, bringing you another interview from this amazing tournament out east. Now, today's guest is a celebrity in her own right within the MASL, giving exclusive content to the St. Louis Ambush and making her name known in the radio world within the Midwest. She's the voice of the St. Louis City 2 team and a host as well in the MLS Next Pro. And now, for the second year in a row, she is boots on the ground, creating content for the reigning champions of the TST tournament, the Newtown Pride. I'm talking about none other than Ashley Moore, but you may know her much better as Lux St. Lux, welcome to today's show. What is going on?
Thank you, Panda, so much for having me. I am so thrilled that you guys have been creating content like this. As my second year here with Newtown Pride, I can definitely attest the MASL is the force of the TST.
They have certainly put on a show. They have stamped their name on this tournament, and we will definitely get into that. But first, I want to know a little bit more about you. I want to know, how did you become involved with the Newtown Pride in the first place?
Well, I was lucky enough to be the public address announcer, like you mentioned, for the St. Louis Ambush, which is where I came in contact with the coach of Newtown Pride, Onua Obasi, from, I guess he was in Baltimore at the time. He's in Harrisburg now. Mm-hmm. And he liked what I was creating for the Ambush and asked me if I'd like to create for Newtown Pride. And I said yes, and just been enjoying it ever since.
Well, he definitely noticed his talent.
Speaking of the MASL, I'm on the free agency list. I just moved to Kansas City, so if anybody can call the folks over at the comments, somebody tell Bud, let Coach Stoke know I'm in the area now.
Well, let's just be honest. This I didn't say it in the beginning, but this is kind of a soft launch right now for what I think would be kind of an incredible show for the MASL to jump on board with. We don't really have any female-driven content for the MASL. And I think this would be great, especially if the MASL ever decides to go in the direction of a female, sector or teams, because I mean, come on, after we get through this interview, we'll probably touch on that a little bit, but
it seems like
I
the
don't
natural
know.
progression of things, honestly. They really, I think they could do it too. I think if anybody could pull off a female indoor league, it would be MASL.
I think so. I think they're ready for it. And I think it's just bubbling to the surface. And I can't wait for that announcement. But before we get there, let's talk about the fact that you were actually here last year, the first season of the TST. The tournament has obviously grown leaps and bounds. What are some of the big differences that you've noticed from last year to now this year?
Well, it is absolutely bigger and better. There are more teams, especially the women's coming in, having the women's tournament as well. The food, everything, the experience has just really grown. The sponsorship has grown. And I think they're going to continue to see that growth because it is just really popping. The amount of people out here is crazy. I'm sure the fire marshal is definitely on watch for these games because it is packed.
Oh man, I don't doubt it. I mean, we were hoping to be a couple more of those bodies down there on the ground for this, and it didn't work out for us. But severe FOMO for us, and I'm sure thousands of other people that are watching this from afar because it looks like an absolute blast. I mean, you guys look like you're having so much fun. The boys look like they're having the time of their life, and the fact that they're competing for a measly little $1 million in while they're doing this as well, like no big deal.
No, it's
Now,
absolutely incredible.
oh, I'm so jealous. But again, I could think of no one better to cover this than you. Like I said in my intro, you've got such professionalism when it comes to like talking to people and doing things like boots on the ground wise. And, the content that you create just on your social media alone is so great. So I'm glad that they recognize that you would be such an asset to this team. Now, one of the things I did want to touch on, so let's just air this out while we can. The big controversy right now is the style of play that Newtown has adopted. Okay. And people that are not familiar with the indoor team, this may seem a little odd to them, but I want to know, okay, what are some of the things you're hearing in the stands and then also behind the bench, like tactics wise, like the whys and the what's also in comparison to, like what you think about how people feel about this.
Well, they are very vocal. We have been hearing quite a few boos from the crowd. As somebody who has their phone up, a lot of the audio is heckling and jeering from the crowd, but our players do not seem fazed by it. They're absolutely playing their game. They came up here 2 weeks early. Obasi's had a camp, so they have been working together and coming together, having 18 out of the 20B MASL players. San Diego, Empire, Kansas City, St. Louis. We've got Baltimore. I think we've got Dallas. We have Harrisburg. Like, we have all these incredible players, but in order to get them to mesh together to play their game, those 2 weeks were absolutely important. When it comes to the style of play, last year, our team specifically changed the game. Everybody came in here playing typical outdoor style. They wanted to be on the field for the full 90 minutes. They didn't sub, and we subbed like we do in the MASL almost every 2 minutes or so, as fast as they could sub, and we just ran them into the ground. And all I kept hearing from the commentators was, oh, Newtown Pride is relying on this bench, and I said, I'm thinking, no, we're not relying. It's not like we're relying on it. It's that we have this depth. We have this incredible depth. So when you take out one player, the next player is as good. Like, there's no real starting 7 because they're all so incredible in their own right. So it doesn't shock me at all that this year, coming in with a strategy, we're really focusing on possession-based play and slowing it down. And for the MASL fans, you might recognize it more as a power play. It looks a lot like a power play where we're set up at the half field. We have our goalie. The fact that Chris Hernandez and Paolo have both been able to dribble up to the center of the field without any pressure is just absolutely insane to me. I have just been watching these other teams allow us to play our strategy out. But the fans are definitely, they seem a little bit maybe bored by this, but $1 million will not be boring to the winner. And you only win by playing your strategy. So they've stuck to it. They trust in their coach. They trust in each other. And we've almost kind of adopted the idea that if they're booing, that's them cheering for us. You know what I mean? That's them loud enough. We're getting to them,
Right. Yeah. I mean, yeah. Again, you ask anyone who's playing for $1 million to abandon their style of play to entertain the fans, and they're probably going to go, no, maybe they need to try and play us a little differently if they don't like it. And yeah, I mean, that's just
Yeah.
how it is. I mean, that's the indoor game. Like I said, they're gonna do things that are gonna get under your skin. They're gonna do things different, and that's what makes it so exciting. So curious to see how this goes going forward. With them advancing to the next round, especially when they start to face teams that do have more MASL talent on them. So that's going to be a lot of fun.
Definitely keeping our eye on La Bomboneras for sure. Seeing the combination of Monterey Flash players and Chihuahua Savage players together, absolutely tough. We look at what's going on with Concava, which is funny because, I think a little bit at the beginning you can write them off as that's Pat McAfee's team, but as Pat McAfee started to add in Stefan Mijatovic, he added in Zach Reggett, he added in Gordy Gerson, and I saw the indoor game. He recognized what happened. I remember during the announcement, he was on screen with JJ Watt and Chad Ochocinco, and he asked JJ Watt asked Chad Ochocinco, like, what should I look for? What did you see last year? And before Chad could even speak, Pat McAfee shouted out, fast subs. So I knew he had watched the tape. I knew he saw the Arena Soccer League and what was going on. So when he snagged those players, I was like, oh, that's going to be a little tougher. And as a lover of the MASL game, it's just so cool to see those players doing well. Seeing Drew Ruggles on Nani really doing well. Obviously, Steph has had some incredible moments, multiple golden goals, as we know he is known to do. And it's been
tough.
It's been cool to see the guys from Newtown that were on the team last year. I got to speak with Tony Walls a little bit. He's playing for the Town FC. But seeing him, hug Marcel Berry and seeing that and getting hugs from Ruggles, like there really doesn't seem to be any of the bad blood that maybe people on the outside think of when they think of these players from different teams. They really come together. And the way that Pat McAfee and everyone is lifting up the MASL, man, if we can just get more eyes on this league, it's going to blow up like nobody's business because these players bring it.
So many people have been a little critical of the MASL by not sponsoring or putting branding out. And I'm like, what more branding do you need than Pat McAfee calling out the Arena League boys? They're the ones holding this together. Like, you couldn't pay enough for that kind of content right now.
No,
so
we cannot afford his endorsement. Nobody can afford his endorsement at this point. So that's absolutely key.
And let's be honest, we don't really need to pay for advertisement. The play on the pitch, the quality of what these boys are doing really speaks for themselves. People don't need there to be banners out there that say MASL for people to go, what's going on? Where are these guys from? What's happening? And
you see Nick Pereira, you see Chris Toth, you see their play. You want to go to those games. It doesn't matter which team these guys are on the MASL. They take the stage at TST, and they are the stars. They really are.
Well, the good thing is, because you're a professional, you've kind of already covered a lot of the questions that I was going to ask, and I love that. So I'm just going to move right on to this last one, which isn't really MASL involved, but it does involve, the fact that, we're both women. We love promoting the women's game. So I have to ask, as a female, how stoked were you to see an all-women's bracket with equal prize money?
Wow, I was shocked, honestly. I knew that they'd probably attempt to add the females, but when I saw them put up $1 million, I almost wanted to cry. Like, I got all of the feels. Women have been so underpaid in the sport for so long, and I do understand where some of the men look at it and they go, well, we have 48 teams. How is it that they're playing for the same $1 million with 8 teams? And I'm saying that's how we attract more women's teams. Because the women are busy playing, you know what I mean? They're busy playing too. They need that $1 million just the way the men do. And I cannot wait to see it.
It's not going to double next year. It's going to get bigger next year. Come on.
That is the truth. It's also been so cool because, and this is behind the scenes, but the trailers are next to each other. So they have the men's trailers and the women's trailers. So the day the women came in, I feel like my face was just, and the guys were too, because these men recognize how talented these females are. They know the players. They recognize some of the teams. So when we're sitting in the stands next to the female, the Tampa Bay team, we're just constantly, checking their numbers. Who are they? And then watching them. The men were watching the females games on the TV. We're staying at an Airbnb, and they had the women's games on too. So they're just as excited, which I love. But that
Wow.
that $1 million prize money is just going to mean that for the rest of eternity in TST history, the women will be immediately paid equal as the men from a starting point. It wasn't they had to work their way up to that. It was a starting equality. And I think that just says a lot about TST.
No.
It says a lot about where soccer's going. And I'm just so excited to see who takes it home. I can't wait.
Absolutely. I mean, yeah, same thing. I mean, the fact that they leveled up evenly just after the first season, and you know, something that these women have fought for so long to get, TST recognized and said, yeah, you're here playing for this, doing the same thing these guys are doing. You deserve the same thing. And yeah, I can't wait to see where this goes. And yeah, again, I can't wait for Monday. I can't wait to see who is the winner, who is going to take home that $1 million prize, because I don't know who it's going to be. I know we all have our picks. I know you probably have your, you know, who you obviously want to win. But
I'm wearing my last year's jersey to support.
I feel
honestly, I'm going to be so thrilled because I know somebody from the MASL is going to be on the team that wins. And
that is exactly what I was going to say.
That is so important.
That was what I was going to say. I have no doubt that whoever takes home this prize is going to have MASL ties and is going to be one of the big reasons why they made it to the final. And like you said, that is what we need as a league, as a community, as a family at the end of the day. That's exactly what we need. And I'm so excited for it.
Well, that's what you and Philly and the doctor have been doing, lifting up this league. And I just, this tournament and the MASL together, it's just perfection. Next year, it's going to be even bigger.
You couldn't have said it better. You know, Lux, thank you so much for taking time out. I know you are having the time of your life and you've got a lot going on. There's a game coming up here very shortly. So I want to get you back to that. But again, thank you for sitting down for me and giving me all the behind the scenes looks. We've had players on this show and coaches that are going to be, you know, featured, but getting your, you know, kind of like point of view of everything is so invaluable. And again, just so appreciative to know you as a friend and a person and hopefully a colleague soon. So thank you.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Pass our love on to all the boys and hopefully we'll all connect very soon.
Yes.
Darn. Unbelievable. I don't know why I said darn. That's not the word I was looking for. What? I mean, the chemistry between you two is pretty damn good. I'm looking forward to whatever the two of you are concocting. You obviously are incredible, and I'm not just saying that because I'm married to you, but you coupled in with Lux St. who's a fantastic media personality within her own right. I'm looking forward to this. That was a fantastic interview. I love Lux St. and I love you.
No, she was fantastic. And again, I feel like we need to really release that as its own separate interview because there was just so much good content there that kind of encompassed the whole thing and not just a specific game. So maybe we'll do that just to get some more eyes on that. But either way, we got to move this along. We got a lot of content, a lot of games, and we don't want to keep you guys here for that long. So I'm going to move right on to the next game of the day. And that was 10:15 in Concaifa FC. That happened early this morning. And, you know, we had a lot riding on this. We had Garrett Bloom in the one side, and then we had, you know, a bunch of MASL Arena League boys and Pat McAfee in the other. And, you know, 10:15 spiked the first goal of the game with less than 10 minutes left in the second half. But the Arena League boys found the equalizer 3 minutes later off the boot of Kid Dynamite, Gordy Gerson, assisted by none other than Zach Reggett. And then just 2 minutes into target time, Stefan Mijatovic would crush this set piece home for the game winner. He's having the time of his life right now, no doubt. And I think we're about to get into that because, I mean, why not? Why wouldn't we want to talk to Stefan Mijatovic? And, you know, at this current time, we've got MASL representation in the round of 8. I mean, we are 3 for 4, are we not? So anyways, did you have anything you wanted to say about that? I don't know.
The only thing I wanted to say is it was jovial. I had a great time interviewing Steph. I mean, we always had great rapport. I love Steph. Always been a part on the team Steph trained. So the caveat is this was done after Concaifa won their first game and before they lost to Hoosier Army the second game. So the mood was a little different than what we anticipated. But the content was incredible. I mean, look, if they're listening to this, I assume they know. I don't think I spoiled it.
You don't know. This could be their only way that they follow this, and you just ruined it for them, Philly.
Roll the tape.
Oh, my God. Go swim in some Mick Ultra.
Back to Cary, North Carolina, we go. Back to the TST. And with that being said, we are getting ready to chat with the King of Chicago himself. a man who's made a name for himself anywhere he has played. And alongside his teammates at Concava SC, no one is having more success and more fun than one of the most colorful personalities our league has ever seen. A man who now goes by the name Meat. We've got Stefan Mijatovic. Broadcasters have called you a number of things. Let's clear the air on that as well. But Steph, how are you, my man?
I'm amazing, Philly. I'm amazing. Thank you for having me on here, man.
Yeah, I guess first and foremost, Mijatovic, let's clear the air on that on the air.
Well, I mean, I go by Meat now, so Meat Tovich.
All right, well, then that's what we're going to call you from here on out. Meat, it's easy, it's one syllable. I love it. Now, we're all watching from afar, and we're all in awe of your performance. You're absolutely killing it. Not only are you smashing teams, you're making it look so much fun. Like, how wild has this experience been for you, bro? Like, talk to us about it. Let us in your life in this TST bubble with Concava.
Oh, this is one of the best experiences of my life. I mean, I'm balling out with Pat McAfee, my boys, Bash Bro, Zach Reggett, Gordy Gerson, Derek Huffman, Huff the Stuff, Mario Alvarez. I mean, you got some of the best indoor guys in our whole league coming together, balling out. I mean, we've taken teams to target time. Indoor guys have took over. Pat's called us out. I mean, the arena boys, he's mentioned us a few times that we take over in the target time. I mean, teams just don't know how to adapt to us. We came back from 2-0. We came back from 1-0. We started tough. We lost the first game of the tournament. We've won every game since. Last year with Newtown, same thing. We lost the first game of the tournament. We ended up winning the whole thing. So, I mean, our vibes are so high. Everything's, I mean, the camaraderie, everything, the banter. It's amazing, man. It's amazing. It's a lot of fun. A lot of spotlight on us. I mean, Pat's the guy out here. So, I mean, there's a ton of fans. They want us to win. Newtown's getting booed because of their slow style of play. So, I mean, we've made it this far, why not us? Why not take it all the way?
I'm going to highlight that Newtown thing you just mentioned in a couple of questions because I do want to talk about that. But first and foremost, I want to talk about you personally. You've been scoring goals. You've been making saves. You've been dropping dimes. I know you're a hard worker. In your time in Empire, I know you're a hardcore, relentless worker. It shows. But with all the success you've been having, what's it mean to you to have it displayed in the way that it has on this type of a stage?
It's amazing, actually. So I put in a lot of work during season this year and especially after the season. So I try to get a lot more fit, work on my game. And I mean, I knew this was going to be a big tournament. And last year, I mean, the whole Noah Beck situation, I mean, any publicity is good publicity. But, I don't really want to be that guy that's always getting in trouble, getting cards, things like that. So, like, I kind of want to change things this time and, like, come out, ball out, stay in for the whole tournament. Show how hard I've worked for all this and maybe finally get some respect put on my name. So
you certainly deserve the respect. You are a hard worker, and you know I've been Team Steph since the day you and I had met. And the reason you're having this much fun, of course, is it's coming on the heels of success, both individually and with Concava. Like talk about the competition out there at TST that you've seen. What's impressed you about the level of play?
So last year there were 32 teams. I think it was the first time this tournament was going on. So I think it was a lot easier last year. The competition was easier, less teams, obviously. Nobody really knew about it. It was more like a publicity stunt, like famous people were here. This year it turned to 48 teams. And then a lot of guys are like, hey, if they won $1 million that easily last year, well, not easily, but, like not a lot of people knew about it. And the competition this year is like 10 times better. I mean, guys all over the world are flying in. Nani's playing. I mean, you got ballers out here. The Elite Eight, the Final Eight here are, I mean, everyone's good. And I mean, we have over 100 MASL players representing our league. And our league's blowing up for sure because of it. I know we're getting a lot of publicity from it. And, for the indoor boys, especially the Concava boys, yesterday's price is not today's price. So MASL, we're getting them good publicity, man.
That you are, and the sponsors are too. You got your Dude Wipes shirt. I got my Dude Wipes right here. Got the
Dude
Mink
Wipes,
Ultra
baby.
right here.
Dude Wipes, flushable. Get them.
And scented too. Don't forget that part.
And scented.
I want to jump back on the thing you mentioned about Concava. Talk to us about the contrast that we are seeing between Concava being the Wild Boys, so to speak, and Newtown being called boring, and what non-MASL fans need to know about the two and how it translates in the season.
So I mean, Newtown has like 18 guys from the league. I mean, all stars, ballers. I mean, all the guys are good. I know all of them. Much respect to all of them. I mean, they kill it in our leagues. I mean, they're playing like a super slow style. I think they're taking every game to target time. I mean, fans love action. I mean, fans love us because I mean, after the game, we're over here, Reggit is pouring beers, Gordy's pouring beers, I'm drinking beers. Like we're partying. Teams are looking at us like, how are these guys drinking these beers? Yeah, Ultra. Shout out Ultra. Hey, how are these guys? Come on, baby. How are these guys doing all this and still winning games? We're staying up late with Pat. You know, we got our cigars going till 3, 4 in the morning, you know, drinking ultras, coming out balling. I mean, we're in the Elite Eight. There was 48 teams when it started, 8 teams left. So it would be a crazy story. And I mean, Pat's sitting here. He's like, this is one of the most wildest things. He can't believe it. I mean, he has Monday Night Raw on Monday. And if we make the finals, we're going straight to Monday Night Raw after on a private jet. So,
Oh, sick. I love professional wrestling. You could let him know that he's my favorite commentator since Bobby the Brain Heenan, by the way. Let him know that. But
I will.
MASL, like you said, is representing so well, 100 players. How much of a surprise or how little of a surprise is it to you that so many of our players, so many of the players coming out of our league are succeeding in this tournament?
I mean, it's only a matter of time before our league gets blown up again. I mean, you know how big it was before, years before, and I mean, we're only going up from here. I mean, indoors getting bigger and bigger every year. The salaries are going up. I mean, better players in the league, and I mean, I knew that we would be taking over this tournament. I mean, this is what we do, small-sided soccer. Like I said, like some of the best players are on Concaifa from our league, but around every team, I mean, we got all the best ballers in indoor soccer. It just shows that how far American soccer has come and how far indoor soccer is and how different it is to this outdoor style 11v11. I mean, not a lot of people can compete with the 7v7, and then once target time comes, I mean, we treat it like a power play. And I mean, you know, we're good at the power plays and we're good at what we do indoors. So it's a lot of success.
That you are. And like you mentioned, like the team, you have an eclectic group. I was saying this to Gordy just the other day, an eclectic group of outdoor players. I mean, you got Breck, you got Jeff on there. Tony Miola's your coach. A lot of interesting personalities. You know, talk to us about some of the fun moments you guys have had off the field that are, it's obviously family friendly. And think this is a judgment-free space. We again want to just take a peek behind the craziness, behind that curtain into the life of you at Concaifa. A story, if you will.
So we got a little documentary coming out. So there's been cameras following us all over. So you're gonna see Breck Shea, Jeff Cameron. You're gonna see all the guys. We got a nice documentary coming behind the scenes. So just stay tuned. Stay tuned. Might even be on Netflix. So
I love it. I love it. Look, I don't want to take up too much more of your time, and I don't want to jinx anything, but let's fast forward and imagine you're on the podium. You're hoisting the trophy. You're a TST champion. Your wallet has gotten fatter for many reasons. What's the first thing you're going to do with all those Benjamins, Steph?
First thing I'm going to do with all those Benjamins, you know what? I'm taking a trip to Vegas. And I mean, last year, I mean, I got 20 grand. Didn't come home for about 2 months, so blew it all. You know, you would think after a year you would get smarter, but, you know, I think I'm going on the same thing. I'm going to go have some fun, maybe blow it all, or maybe go to Vegas and turn it into 100,000.
If you take that trip, you better call me. I'm like a 50-minute flight away. I'll go to the Devil's House with you, bro. I don't care.
Hey, anytime, Philly. With you, anytime, man.
All right. Before I let you go, any final thoughts or words to the audience out there?
I mean, I just want to say, Concaifa's coming for the whole millie, baby. And Pat McAfee, these are your arena boys, baby. Let's get it, man. We coming for that millie, baby.
I love it. I mean that. One of the most colorful personalities our league has ever seen. My man, it's been a joy watching you play. It's been a joy watching you celebrate, not only in this tournament, though, but at Toyota Arena on Twitch. As I mentioned to you before we got started, don't ever change who you are. You're a gem, my dude. The best of luck in this tournament. I hope to see you soon.
Thank you so much, Philly. I won't ever change for you. And one more thing, don't forget, yesterday's price ain't today's price, baby.
I love it. Keep on kicking some ass.
Let's go, Philly. See you, boss. Thank you.
Later. Yeah, that was fun. I love chat with Steph. He's just a fun guy. If I was a professional athlete, I would probably be with him. I'd be probably one of those Bash brothers alongside Gordy and Zach. Steph's just a fun guy.
He's
and
wild.
A talented player too, might I add.
One of the best. Absolutely. It's been a pleasure to watch him put in his work. More on his performances later, but let's get back to the action in the semifinals. Up next, we got Pasha Luxury taking on La Bombonera. On yesterday's show, my prodigious powers of poignant prognostication predicted a barrage of bombazos from La Bombonera, and I was 100% right. This game had more booms than a Katy Perry concert on the 4th of July. It ended 6-0. Doc's pick to win it all looks pretty good so far. And, Doc would love one of those La Bombonera jerseys, for showing you this love throughout the course of this show. And I know that kit sponsor there, I just wanted to give a shout out, this being my custom Ontario Fury edition of Califino's Extra Añejo. Shouts to the boys at Califino for putting the kits sponsorship out there for a couple different teams in this tournament, including La Bombonera. Salud.
Brilliant.
We've got Califino, we've got Dude Wipes, we've got Mick Ultra. Jeez. We got a party going on is what we've got, don't we?
Well, it's funny how it goes. We've got Califino, we've got Mick Ultra, and then we got Dude Wipes. Notice the order of importance.
Absolutely.
Scented too, by the way.
I went for the unscented. I don't know if I need to be minty down there. I don't know if I want that minty, but I appreciate the sentiment.
You don't need a wave of coolness to kind of, caress your undercarriage.
By the way, 99% water and plant-based ingredients, so it's good for nature.
Hey, you gotta love that. All right, Philly.
Nani FC versus the Town FC at 11:30 a.m. Lucas Roque got the action started with the first goal of the game, but the Town would find the early equalizer. It was all Nani FC after that as they went on a 4-goal run, including a King Tayu.
I see what you're doing there.
King Tayu banger to end regulation 5-1. Let's roll a clip of that Tayu goal. All right. Nani outshot the Town 28-6 in regulation. The Town would make it interesting, finding 2 target time goals in less than 20 seconds. But His Majesty called game 4 minutes later, and Frank's second goal of the game sees Nani onto the Ochos. Tony Walls exit the tourney, but MASL representation in the round of 8, 5 of 6. And by the way, we're calling him the king. I know the broadcasters don't know that much about our boys or the Major Arena Soccer League, but come on, Frank the Tank, really? You are going to compare one of the most prolific scorers in the history of indoor soccer to Will Ferrell's character in the movie Old School? Put Philly, the Doctor, and Panda, Eric Bergerud, Nick Vassos, Craig Elston, Ray Biggs on the broadcast. We would kill it. That is the king, not Frank the Tank.
Amen. Preach it.
Yeah, I totally agreed. Put some respect on that name. Now, next game, Reggae Rovers versus Wrexham. This was at around 12:30 today. Roshan and the rambunctious Reggae Rovers rolled right around the Wrexham Red Dragons, racing in to the next round by a final score of 5-1. Woo! I got through that one just fine this time because of my glass of wine.
I'm so impressed.
Thank
Panda.
Thank you. It was written beautifully, and putting respect on it, that's what I tried to do. MASL representation in the quarterfinals is now 6 of 7.
Our final game would be Sire 7 versus NCFC North Carolina FC. Sire 7 took down NCFC 4-2 in the final round of 16 match. Monterrey's Toro netted Sire's 3rd goal of the match. This unfortunately means that eliminated from play are the San Diego Soccer's Farber and Childs, UCFC's Dylan Hundelt, and Empire's William Vancella. But now MASL officially accounts for 7 of the 8 teams that have advanced and 20% of all remaining players in the quarterfinals, MASL players.
All right. Well, you know what? That concluded the round of 16. Such an exciting morning and, like early afternoon of soccer action, and a great time to really highlight an interview that Jonathan, the doctor, Reimer did. You want to tell everybody what your afternoon consisted of?
Well, so far we've heard from a lot of players. We've heard some people in the social media side of things. I wanted to hear a little bit about tactics, about how one approaches building a squad. And so we reached out to Jimmy Nordberg of Tranquilo and the Empire Strykers. And here is my conversation with Jim.
Spikers.
Stop.
Folks, joining MASL featuring TST right now is none other than Jimmy Nordberg. You know him for his work with the Empire Strykers. In this setting, however, he is the head coach of Tranquilo. Jimmy, welcome to MASL x TST.
Thanks, Doc. Thanks for having me.
Unfortunate circumstances for you as Tranquilo got put in what many have referred to as the group of death, Group H. And despite being a winner in one of your matches, you unfortunately did not qualify for the knockout stages. But take us through a little bit what the experience has been like for you this year.
Man, we had a blast. Tranquilo came together rather late. I think we put the team together in less than 40 days. And Clay Roberts was a huge help bringing him on staff and putting the team together. And it was all MASL guys. So we had some younger guys. We had some older veteran guys like Vinny Dantes and Ricardo Diegues and Victor Pereira, some guys that are common names across the league. And then we brought in some young guys like Alan Perez and Skylar Funk and Leo Acosta. And the team was a pleasure to work with. We had lots of laughs. We had lots of great training sessions, and just getting to learn the guys and seeing them play and bringing them together was so much fun. And yeah, our group was tough. Started off with quick goal, and Giovinco had three goals on us in the first half. So that was difficult. But in TST time, we came in and started to figure it out, and we scored 3 goals on them. So something to build on. Then we went and we played Pasha, who nobody really knew, and it's not like there's video on the teams going into it because it's a whole new group, right? A whole new team. So we started off really well. I thought we defended very, very well in that game, and we were up 2-0 going into the target goal time, and hit the post a couple times. And Vinny had 2 really good chances, and we just didn't score to close the door. And then, as you've seen in this tournament, everybody's alive until they're not. So they came back and beat us when it was 2v2. That was a killer. And then come into play Sneaky Fox, which, a lot of my friends are on that team, and a lot of good MASL guys in there with Pereira and Toth and Juice. And so it was a quality game. And for us to win that game at the end of the tournament for us was just an electric event for us, even though there was a 2-hour break in the middle because of thunder and lightning and all that kind of stuff.
Mother Nature subbed into that match for a while. Our apologies for that. Believe me, it was no fun for us waiting to do the recap show either. We were up very late into the wee hours of the morning getting that one done. Jimmy, there's a really odd tactics to this 7v7 outdoor side, and we've seen the influx of so much of this indoor ideology, especially when it comes to target time. Talk about the impact of MASL tactics on an outdoor pitch from a coaching perspective.
Yeah, I mean, there's a couple different tactics, and I want to say that was the talk of the town, walking around the fields, talking about how you do it, and really your quarterback becomes your goalie. So, you watch teams pull their keeper and use a field player, and it's either feast or famine in this event. And the keepers, like a Pollo, like a Von Zella or a Chris Toth, who you saw scoring goals, the Wrexham keeper was on fire the other day. So you see these guys come up, and it becomes an extra field player, and it's an advantage. I do foresee a rule change coming with the event where there's either a 6-second count or there's a pass limit back to the keeper, because it is taking away from some of the excitement of the game and slowing the game down a lot. There was one team that I watched, and they played for 15 minutes in the target goal time and didn't even have a shot off, and got all the way down to 2v2 and ended up winning with one shot on goal. And that's a tactic. But when the fans are booing, it becomes a little bit different.
Well, that's the great thing about the TST. I mean, they're very adaptive, right? We see rule changes every year,
Yep.
especially when it came to the target time, bringing that down to 3 minutes. They've been open to a lot of changes, and I think that's one that I wouldn't even be surprised if we saw a change before the end of this tournament, let alone, going into next year.
Sure.
Jimmy, we don't have much time with you today. Thank you so much for joining us. Final question for you, just the impact of the MASL exposure that this tournament has generated, and what's the buzz going on there around MASL?
I mean, I would be shocked if the winning team doesn't have MASL players on it. The guys were dominant in this tournament. Saw Frank banging a goal today for Nani. And Craig Childs was still doing it. And you just look at these teams. Gabriel Costa has been playing great. Charlie. I mean, all the MASL stars are out there performing. And it really puts our league in a bright light. And the future is really, really bright for our league. And I wouldn't be surprised if you see some more big-name players coming into our league because the buzz is really, really great with the MASL.
Well, Jimmy, thank you so much for joining us. I'm sure you're getting some scouting in while you're there. Wink, wink, brother. Don't be sharing any of those names now, all right? You keep that all in-house there.
I got some tricks going on, so we'll see some signings.
Thank you so much, Jimmy. Sorry about your team bouncing out, but hopefully you come out of it with a few signees and all works out well. Folks, once again, joining us was Jimmy Nordberg, Tranquilo here in the TST, and you know him from the Empire Strykers in the MASL. Thank you, Jimmy.
Thanks, Doc. All right.
Take care.
Wow. Such good interviews today, man. Like the content is just banging. Like it's so interesting. It should have probably been its own show and podcast, to be honest, like just those interviews alone. But it's fun to kind of pepper them in to what's happening during the day with these games. So why don't we just get right back into it? I think we're going to move on to the second part of the day. This is after the first round and who is left. And I'm going to start this off. Doc, what you got for us?
Let's time to move into the quarterfinals. The evening half of our slate today would start with Saturday's football taking on La Bombonera. And Bombonera got the early goal in the 7th minute. They had the lion's share of the possession throughout the course of the game. Stalwart defensive effort from Saturday's football kept the score line lower. But of course, Popper had a bombazo for Bombonera. He pops up again. My goodness, a great transition goal. It was highlighted what La Bombonera have done so well. Quick changes, frenetic pace, keeping a high energy throughout the course of the game, just wearing out some of these traditional outdoor sides. That tactic was on display throughout the course of this game. They executed it beautifully. And with that, Bombonera, I see you roll your way into the semis. Dios mío, man.
A tough team to contend with. Had you not picked them early on, that would have been one of my go-to teams. Look, a lot of these guys have played together for a long period of time. It would be hard not to think that they were going to go on a deep run because they're filled with talented indoor soccer players that have been champions for a couple of years consecutively now. I dig the headband, by the way, and I also appreciate the fact that you're drinking some tequila. I toast to you. Panda, where's your beverage? Social.
Hey, cheers.
It's Saturday night, folks. What do you want from us? We're trying to have some fun.
We are not buttoned up on this. This is unhinged after dark.
Unhinged,
it's the off season.
cracked,
It's
and
the off
uncorked.
season.
Yeah, it's the off season. We're taking a break, y'all. We work really hard. We deserve a little bit of fun. 7 p.m. Sire 7 at Nani. Nani FC nets the opener on a dime from Nani. 1-0 is the scoreline now. Frank Tayu, interestingly enough, has a gift fall at his feet in the 15th minute as he taps home a goal to double the lead for Nani early. The King, not Frank the Tank. Lucas Roque netted a seeing eye single through enough traffic to make us LA folk impressed to give Nani a 3-0 lead at the half. Traffic, LA. We go together. The King would get his second 5 minutes into the second half with his patented turn and fire. And as I've said many, many times on a broadcast, the king wielded his mighty scepter. Ricardo, but as Panda knows him as Richard Carvalho, would put Nani up 5-0 and 6-1. Edgar Gonzalez Diaz, the only Sire 7 MASL player, lovingly known as Torres, would find the lone goal with 5 left in regulation. We head into target time, where things got a little interesting as Sire found 2 goals before Nani FC finally netted the target goal and punched their way into the semis. Nani FC, oh my lord.
All I can think of is, man, 5-0 and 6-1. What a dick move by Carvalho. You see what I did there?
That's comment of the night right there. You win.
Oh, anyways, all right. Let's move on to Whoville Army, the Hoosier Army versus Kefa. Man, this was gonna split Philly's allegiances like some gas station toilet
Massively.
paper. Man, good thing you got dude wipes because you've got a mess on your hands with this one. Ugh, I know. And so did Kefa. They faced one-way traffic for all of regulation. It took a massive defensive effort and a little luck to see them through to target score time. It was noted at 0-0. There was no goals. We went 0-0. Target score time was 1. They needed 1 goal. They had a clear tactic just to wait them out. It took a flurry of goal line clearances, massive saves, and a gracious post to keep them alive in overtime. But in the end, it just was not enough. Unfortunately, Kefa could never get possession, and one-way traffic finally led to the Hoosiers' goal. The Hoosier Army wins 1-0. Team Dude wipes out, flushing their chances at $1 million away. Womp, womp, womp. Regged, Gerson, Mijatovic, Huffman, Alvarez all fall 3 wins short of $1 million. You hate to see it, but I have to say, as far as teams without any MASL talent, Hoosier Army, they're doing some things. And I just noticed the wine that I'm drinking is actually from the Indiana upland. So I hope that wasn't a factor in why things went the way that they did. So sorry.
I mean, look, it is bittersweet. I went to IU. I spent 3 of the most unbelievable years of my life at Bloomington, at that institution. And 3 because I loved it so much. I never went home during the summertime. But at the end of the day, I didn't really know many of the players on the Hoosier Army team. We were going down the roster, and there was one guy that spent 1 season there, 2015, and he was from France. I'm like, who the heck is this guy? More invested in Kefa because of what we've done over the course of the last few years within the Major Arena Soccer League. Yes, it's great that Hoosier Army progressed, but it wasn't a Hoosier Army that included the likes of players like Lee Wynn and some of the other guys that I do know from Indiana University. It breaks my heart, truthfully, that Kefa is out of it because they were media darlings. They were fun, the vibes, the energy. Like they created an environment and a space that was just fun. It was must-see TV. The Hoosiers were very Manila. They did their thing. No star stood out. They passed the ball around. They took care of business, and they were really good. Matt Stoner kept them out of the back of the net on so many occasions. But at the end of the day, a defensive lapse led to that goal by Hoosier Army, and that's how it ends. My heart breaks, truthfully, because I really wanted to see more of Steph. I wanted to see more of Gordy, Zach, Mario, Derek, Pat McAfee, Jeff Cameron, the lovely locks of Breck Shea. It goes on and on. Anyways.
Absolutely. I hate that for them. They were so much fun to watch, but that means no team that I picked in the beginning is going to win. You guys still have your teams in. And actually, Philly, why don't you get into that? Because I don't want to spoil it, but that was a good one.
I'm pointing to that blue jersey, and I'm going to reference Jesus. I'm directionally
You're
challenged.
You're not very good at this.
That's because you all left me hanging on the initial parts of this podcast.
Is that because you have Mick Ultra in your brain? What happened?
Mick Ultra along with some reposado. Anyways, Reggae Rovers, truly one of the toughest teams in the TST tournament, a very, very talented team, took on my choice to win this tournament, Newtown Pride. I do that. I pick the low-hanging fruit. Juan Pereira would find Rian Marquez to put Newtown up 1-0, just 1 minute and 15 seconds into the match. Marquez representing the Kansas City Comets. But Rovers would get one back just before the 5-minute mark. It took a mere 180 seconds for Rian Marquez to complete the brace with a toe poke down the middle to retake the lead for Newtown. Rovers would net the equalizer just before tea time to send us into the half, knotted at the deuces. A choppy second half went goalless. We entered target time still with the score dead even at 2-2. After what seemed to be an eternity of scoreless but fiercely contested minutes within that overtime period, Charlie Gonzalez did what he's been doing this entire tournament. The sixth attacker specialist fires home to advance Newtown 3-2. The champs are in the semis. That right there. Whoa, I did it the first time. That was impressive. That jersey, for those who are watching and are unaware, and for those who are listening, I'm going to tell you, that is a jersey from the MASL All-Star game many, many blue moons ago. I'd love for us to have an All-Star game. I bought a Charlie Gonzalez signed jersey, one of the first signed artifacts that I've had in my tenure within the MASL. I love Charlie. The kid is so superbly talented, and I'm so thrilled and so overjoyed to see him succeeding right now, doing his thing. I told him I would get that framed. I haven't gotten it framed. There's a lot of things that I haven't gotten framed, but I will. Charlie, if you're listening to this, I promise you I will get that framed. You are the first MASL player that ever signed anything for me. You are the man. Congratulations, Newtown. Y'all are making me look like a prophet.
With that, our semifinals are all set. But before we preview those matches real quick, let's run through our MASL stat leaders after day 4. In goals, we have a change. Frank Tayu, Ricardo, or as Panda affectionately refers to him, Richard Carvalho, are both tied at 5 goals apiece. They sit just 1 goal behind Giovinco and Wadrarama, who are tied at 6. In assists, Luis Morales remains atop the leaderboard. He netted 1, getting him 1 past Zach Reggett. He currently still sits 1 behind on the leaderboard. In points, Morales leads all MASL players with 12, trailing the leader with 13. In saves, Chris Hernandez shows up with 33 saves. He is just trailing the keeper from the Reggae Rovers, who has 5 more saves at 38. And in save percentage, Christian Hernandez, 86.8%. He let in a couple goals today and saw his percentage drop. He now trails the leaders by about 7 points.
Whew. Going to be quite the matchups tomorrow, guys. Why don't you run through who is taking on who and your pick for those games?
Well, first off, in the semifinals, La Bombonera versus Hoosiers Army. Philly, I'm coming for you. The well-regimented, fluid outdoor style of the boys from IU go up against the frenetic pace and energy of La Bombonera. A clear clash of styles makes this must-watch soccer. Philly, I know your allegiances are torn, as Panda said earlier, like cheap gas station toilet paper. How is it that you are going to decide what side of this fence you're on, my friend?
Since we're on the topic of toilet paper, dude wipes, get them. They're great. They can be scented. They can be unscented. 99% water and plant-based ingredients, and more importantly than anything else, they won't clog your pipes. They are flushable. Moving along, and also shout out Michelob Ultra. Nani FC versus Newtown Pride FC at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I talked about that All-Star game where I copped that Charlie Gonzalez jersey. We might as well call this one an MASL All-Star game. Sprinkle in a few outdoor legends and mix in some of the most electric players in the beautiful indoor game. Newtown Pride, after their quarterfinal victory, said Nani was light work. I think y'all just put kerosene on a fire. Hopefully that doesn't come back to bite y'all in the rear end. Those were very bold words, all things considered. But these games, the Final Four, will be interesting, and no doubt, one team, actually the finals, I can't say it for sure, but one team without a doubt in the finals is going to represent the MASL, the greatest, highest level of indoor soccer in the world. Panda, we've talked an awful lot about the men's game. There's $1 million on the line as far as the women are concerned. Before we cap this all off, why don't you talk about that?
Yeah, tomorrow, before that exciting action goes down, we will be seeing 2 games on the women's side, and Streetball FC Canada and North Carolina Courage, who advanced out of Group A, will be taking on each other at 1:00 p.m. TST time. And then Tampa Bay Sun FC and the U.S. women will be taking on each other at 2:30 p.m., who also advanced out of their bracket. So those two games will determine who is going to be seen in the final on Monday, as well as the men. So tomorrow's a huge, huge day for the men and women. It sets the stage for the final that's going to go down on June 10th, which also happens to be our 7th wedding anniversary, which is kind of funny. So I can't wait to celebrate them winning $1 million while we're celebrating our anniversary.
Whose 7th anniversary of the wedding?
Stop it. Don't even act dumb.
Always dumb with a bottle of rum, right, Panda? While you
anyway, so that is where it's at. We did our best to try to keep this incredible content and all these exciting games and interviews down to an hour, and we're just right at that mark. So I don't have anything left to say. I don't know that anybody else wants to hear us say anything else. Does anyone else want to add anything to this show?
Long live the MASL.
I see you roll your way into the semis. Dios mío, man. We'll see you tomorrow, folks. Semifinals. Going to be a fun one. And I guarantee you, the show will finally get shorter tomorrow. I know we've promised that like 4 days in a row, and the show has gotten longer 4 days in a row. This will be the longest episode. We had a lot to cover today, a lot of indoor games, 2 rounds to be covered. But from here on out, we actually will get shorter. I promise. I promise.
We
We're
hope.
probably not. We're probably
And
not.
with that
We're probably
being said,
lying.
with that being said, socials.
Salud, amigos.
Bye.